Yo, yo, yo. Okay, let's kick in. This week, we've decided to keep things a bit insular and talk about the work we're doing in Covenant Labs and how the Grandmaster plan is shaping up. Now, for reminders, Templar started on the 27th of November 2024. Our overarching arch was to prove to the world that training models over the internet in permissionless settings was possible. Creating a state of the art leading model was possible on BitTensor. We're almost a year in, and right now, Templar has blown the Pareto frontier of what anyone else is doing. We're training the biggest model ever trained over the internet. Training there is going amazing. We're on target. I think we had a blog post where we showed that Templar was actually outperforming centralized and central training because we had checkpoints from Kimi 2 and we were able to evaluate it against our run. So that's going really well. Now, the plan is to capture the entire AI continuum. With Templar, we have pre-training. With Grail, we have post-training. And with Basilica, we are going to push the boundaries of what we think is possible with compute. I'm going to bring Joel isn't around with Templar. Like I always tell people, Templar is boring because Templar just fucking works. Like I haven't written Templar code in 6 months or even longer. It just works. The guys there are pushing what is possible. Like it's like I think the closest model was 40B by Noose, and that didn't really turn out well because our 8 billion parameter model had far better downstream evals than Noose's 40 bill. So Templar is, as far as I'm concerned, Templar is setting out to do what we promised to do, and we are one step closer to manifesting prophecy. Now with Basilica, finally we have rentals. I'll come to Basilica later, but I'd like to welcome Irfan on stage to talk about the work we've been doing with Grail because Irfan has been leading that, and I think we're about to hit a very interesting milestone on the Grail work. Like I explained, it's we look at right now, intelligence is create the model, you create the base model, you do some jazz to it via post training. So Grail becomes our harness in which we direct miners rollouts to create different kinds of. I think we're training with GPO now, but that is how we get to SOTA. So we kill them, we really kill it with Templar's base model, and Grail pushes it to the end, and hopefully Basilica facilitates all of this. Initially with Grail, there's two bits to Grail. It's a double entendre. Grail is the cryptographic protocol we use to compare hidden sketch states to be sure that my.
So with the whole Grail thing, what we've been doing is building the infrastructure to enable us to do post-training so far. One of the major parts we started working on in the beginning was inference verification, and other parts of the infrastructure was built to help us get to the point that we could actually do the training or just do GRPO or reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards algorithms that you have already mentioned. So today we got some really good results using GRPO, and we showed that this training actually starts to show that it's actually working on the main network. We're making a lot of progress right now. I'm going to focus on optimizing everything, improving the algorithms, improving the networks and everything. So we could actually scale this and do it in a much larger scale. Because so far, the problems we worked on and showed it's working on is like a GSMA kind of data set, which is a math data set, but it's a data set that is more of a sanity check for now. For the real post-training that gives us actual competitive good model, that's going to be the next step.
So what are the low-hanging fruits? Because I know like we were arguing internally because I want everything done in a week. And Efren goes, no, we need to do single turn, we need to do multi-turn first. So which turn are we on?
We are still in the single turn for sure. I think there are a lot to be done in the single turn before going for the multi-turn. And I think, we gradually, even when you go for multi-turn, we're going to gradually kind of make that happen. Maybe start with like 4 turns, 5 turns, then making the problem more long horizon. So we could build on that and make the model better. And when we have everything in place, we're actually going to do a mixture of all of them at the same time when we are training, because it's going to be the whole post-training and we want to get a competitive model. So I think the next milestone in single turn training is just going to be like, we're going to apply to much harder math data sets for now. But after that, we're going to go for some tool usage data sets, maybe even like coding data set, and build our own coding engine and optimize that one before we go to our multi-turn. I think in the single turn part, we want to at least build a really good model that actually shows some competitiveness to other models before, we kind of launch and go for like multi-turn.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. What would you say? So, what's giving you a headache now? When can we start to see some downstream metrics like evals?
Yes, so far, what I'm reporting on and measuring is reinforcement learning. Online reward curve is kind of like a curve on the training set. You can think about it like that. It's like it's a curve on the data that it's being fed to the model, that the model is experiencing, or the agent. But what I need to do, as you mentioned, is like we want to have proper eval. And I think in a few days, we're going to have that. It's not really hard to develop that part. And I actually already done that offline, and I built some offline evals. Even for GSM8 Kit, for example, there is a training portion and a validation portion, and we can use the validation as online eval. But I think when I'm like building the evals, it's gonna be way more vast than this one. If you are
can we just use standard evals? Like, again, I'm not too familiar with push trading.
Yeah,
we is actually somebody we might work with for push trading, because he's a fine tuning genius. That guy, he actually does quite a bit. So what kind? Oh, he left. Sorry, I look forward to that. Now, on the Basilica front, it's actually pretty interesting. So, right, first of all, we've managed to have billion. The network's a lot more sustainable. What we're doing a whole new rewrite of what Basilica is. I've been working on this for about 2 weeks now. We should have an MVP ready this week of what compute looks like what, and how to respond to the demands of like AI researchers, different subnets. And it's going to be pretty interesting. But the first thing we're going to do next week is rewrite Basilica's incentive mechanisms to stop paying out for idle compute. So we will just use 100% of the revenue to pay miners, and maybe just pay them a very little bit to keep them registered on the network. So we only want to incentivize use compute, because otherwise we're just bleeding. I think it'll be good because we spent a lot of time solidifying the code base, but now we move towards an economic layer. Okay, now the code works. We have high uptime. Miners are yanking compute. What is the next step? It's bridging revenue and utilization. That will be such a massive change, because it almost eliminates sell pressure from Basilica and starts to reward miners for actively providing rentable GPUs. So that is a massive step. We look forward to being able to get that out early next week. The big thing is we didn't start Basilica just to arbitrage compute. What we do now would totally kill that arbitrage, drop sell pressure, and actually see us net positive in that we take in excellent emissions. We look at our revenue per emissions. It's something we need to start tracking and make this more than what we're taking. So that's one of the areas we'll focus on now. And the next thing, I can't go into too much, but I've been working on it for 2 weeks. I've handed it out to Evan because Evan's a lot better than me. But some pretty interesting and monumental things will be coming out of Covenant Labs quite soon. Let me invite Evan on stage to talk about it a bit, but maybe not too much, because he's leading the charge on. So everyone asks me about Covenant Labs. They're like, bro, I'm just a hype man. I don't write any code anymore. I just hype and have dreams of becoming a KOL, which are not yet materializing, but never give up your dreams. Okay, that's about it. So those are the clinical updates. On most TGIFs, we invite other people to come and talk. We get to learn more about different subnets, but we just wanted to keep this a lot more insular, a lot more candlelit. Okay, cool. A lot more candlelit. Yeah. Sorry, Evan is available now. Evan, do you want to tell us about the madness that I've been putting you through on Basilica?
Okay, right. So what was out of the blue? Thank you. For that, I don't know on which madness we should start. So
let's not air a dirty laundry in public.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
always getting everyone to rewrite stuff. They're like, oh no, you are right. And I've probably done that again this last week,
So the vision of Basilica was always that beyond rentals, right? Rentals is a very commoditized feature. Everyone can do rentals, and at the moment, many people can do better rentals than us, and that's great. And we can keep optimizing there. That's not the North Star. The North Star of compute is not just rentals. What we need to do is pretty much, be able to, like the compute needs to be as close to you while you are typing your code as possible. There is this kind of shift left mentality, which is the future for the engineers. Like, why do you have to do all these demos? Why do you have to deploy your model, set up your compute, blah, 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 like this doesn't make sense, right? And doesn't make sense more and more. What the engineers need, what our users need, to have the compute so much abstracted away. So while they code or while they're building their models, they need to be able to just kick things off. And this is what we're trying to do. So this means that, you'll be having clusters, running on Basilica. Maybe I shouldn't say what kind of classes, or should I don't know how much I should say in this.
I think you said too much. Back to the dungeon. Anyways, we plan on doing exactly what we said we would do. Price is a bit shit right now, but for me, I have a different kind of perspective. The price is still high compared to what I was used to. We believe that the closer we come to realizing that value, price will adjust to it. Basilica is where Covenant Labs is a hill we die on. All our projects are very important, but we feel that we can easily fold everything into Basilica and augment our product offerings. We don't relent. We learn, we iterate, we move fast. This is where we're going to be. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I've missed all of you. Catch us in Discord. We will continue to try to manifest prophecy. Have a lovely weekend, guys.